Lupita Nyong'o.
Thank you to the Academy for this incredible recognition. It doesn't escape me for one moment that so much joy in my life is thanks to so much pain in someone else's. And so I want to salute the spirit of Patsy for her guidance. And for Solomon, thank you for telling her story and your own. Steve McQueen, you charge everything you fashion with the breath of your own spirit. Thank you so much.
In a world where representation matters more than ever, one woman has blazed a trail of beauty, brilliance, and bravery, challenging stereotypes and redefining what it means to be a global icon. She's an Academy Award-winning actress, a best-selling author, and a voice for authenticity and self-love. But long before the red carpets and flashing cameras, she was just a young girl with big dreams and a name that echoed with heritage, Lupita Nyong'o. This is the inspiring story of how she rose from humble beginnings to become a symbol of power, grace, and hope for millions around the world. Lupita Amondi Nyong'o was born on March 1, 1983, in Mexico City, to Kenyan parents. Her father, Peter Enyang Nyong'o, was a respected politician and academic, and her mother, Dorothy Nyong'o, a passionate advocate and leader. Due to political unrest in Kenya at the time, the family was living in exile in Mexico. But even in a foreign land, Lupita's identity was never lost. Her parents gave her a traditional Kenyan name and instilled in her a deep sense of cultural pride. When she was just a year old, the family returned to Kenya, where Lupita spent most of her childhood. She grew up in Nairobi, in a middle-class household that valued education, creativity, and discipline. Her father's involvement in politics and her mother's leadership at the Africa Cancer Foundation exposed Lupita early on to a world of purpose-driven work. From an early age, Lupita Nyong'o stood out not just for her talent, but for her thirst for learning. Her school life played a huge role in shaping the confident, intelligent woman the world would one day admire. Lupita grew up in Nairobi, where she attended some of the country's top international schools. One of the most notable was Ruzinga School, a private Christian academy that placed strong emphasis on academics, discipline, and leadership. It was here that Lupita began to explore her identity, express herself creatively, and develop a strong academic foundation. In class, she was bright and inquisitive, often described as focused and articulate. But it was outside the classroom, on the stage, where Lupita truly came alive. She participated in drama clubs, school plays, and any opportunity that allowed her to perform. While other kids dreamed of becoming doctors or engineers, Lupita's dream was clear: she wanted to act. Her school years weren't without struggle. As a dark-skinned girl, Lupita faced the painful experience of feeling different. In an environment where European beauty standards still had influence, she sometimes felt invisible. She once said, "I remember a time when I too felt unbeautiful. I put on the TV and only saw pale skin. I got teased and taunted about my nightshaded skin." These experiences didn't break her, they built her resilience. From a young age, Lupita was drawn to the arts. She loved performing, often putting on plays with her siblings. Her family supported her passion, taking her to theater productions and encouraging her creative instincts. It was at Ruzinga International School, where her talents began to shine. At 14 years old, she performed in a production of Romeo and Juliet in Nairobi, and the experience lit a fire inside her. It was clear she didn't just want to act. She needed to. Yet, life in Kenya wasn't just about dreaming, it was about discipline. Her father's work as a political figure exposed her to the importance of speaking up and standing strong in the face of pressure. Her mother's kindness taught her empathy and leadership. These lessons would shape not just her art, but her character. Though she was deeply rooted in Kenyan culture, Lupita was also exposed to global influences. Her parents often traveled, and they prioritized education, eventually sending her to Hampshire College in the United States to study film and theater. But even before she got there, Lupita had begun crafting a voice that was bold, curious, and unapologetically African. Strong sense of discipline, thanks in part to her family. Her father was a university professor, and education was not taken lightly. Excellence was expected, not just hoped for. That environment, equal parts nurturing and demanding, gave her the confidence to aim beyond borders. As she finished secondary school, Lupita had a clear vision. She would pursue storytelling, not as a hobby, but as a lifelong mission. And with the full support of her parents, she took her next bold step, leaving Kenya to study film and theater abroad. Lupita Nyong'o's career didn't begin in the spotlight, it began behind the scenes, with a camera in her hand and a dream in her heart. After finishing high school in Kenya, she moved to the United States to attend Hampshire College in Massachusetts, where she studied film and theater. At first, Lupita was more focused on telling stories than acting in them. She worked on film sets, including as a production assistant on the 2005 film The Constant Gardener, starring Ralph Fiennes. That experience opened her eyes not just to the magic of filmmaking, but to the possibilities waiting for her on the other side of the camera. But her heart kept calling her to the stage. Determined to sharpen her craft, Lupita applied to and was accepted into one of the most prestigious acting programs in the world, the Yale School of Drama. It was a life-changing decision. While at Yale, she acted in numerous stage productions and honed her voice, movement, and emotional depth. It was there that she learned how to connect deeply with a character and even more deeply with herself. Then came the moment that changed everything. In 2013, while still relatively unknown, Lupita was cast in a role that would catapult her to global fame, Patsy in 12 Years a Slave, directed by Steve McQueen. Her performance was raw, devastating, and unforgettable. Critics and audiences were stunned. She wasn't just acting, she was transforming. For that performance, Lupita won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress, becoming the first Kenyan and the first African woman to ever win an Oscar for acting. Overnight, she became a symbol of talent, hope, and representation for millions. But she didn't stop there. She went on to star in blockbuster films like Star Wars, The Force Awakens, lending her voice to the wise alien Maz Kanata. Then came her role in Marvel's Black Panther, where she played Nakia, a warrior, a spy, and a woman with purpose. That film became a cultural movement, and Lupita stood at the heart of it, representing African excellence, beauty, and strength on a global stage. She also took her talent to Broadway in Eclipsed, a play written by another African woman, Danai Gurira, earning a Tony Award nomination for her powerful performance. Beyond acting, Lupita became a New York Times best-selling author with her children's book Sulwe, a deeply personal story inspired by her childhood struggles with self-image. Through her words, she continues to teach children to embrace their skin, their culture, and their light. She's also used her platform to advocate for women's rights, African storytelling, and diversity in Hollywood. From magazine covers to United Nations speeches, Lupita has remained true to her roots, proud of her heritage, and committed to empowering the next generation. Lupita Nyong'o isn't just an actress, she's a symbol of progress, representation, and purpose. Her achievements stretch far beyond Hollywood, reaching into literature, activism, and global influence. In 2014, Lupita won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress for her role as Patsy in 12 Years a Slave. She made history as the first Kenyan and the first African woman to win an Academy Award for acting. It wasn't just a win, it was a moment for the world to recognize Black talent in its purest, most powerful form. In the same year, she also became the first Black African woman to be named the face of Lancôme, a global beauty brand. That partnership sent a message to the world that dark skin is beautiful, worthy, and powerful. In 2016, Lupita starred in the Broadway play Eclipsed, written by fellow African actress and playwright Danai Gurira. Her performance earned her a Tony Award nomination, further proving her versatility and excellence beyond the screen. As Nakia in Black Panther, Lupita played a fierce warrior, spy, and voice of reason. The film was a global sensation, breaking records and becoming a cultural landmark. Lupita's role helped redefine how African stories and African women are seen in global cinema. Lupita joined another legendary universe when she voiced Maz Kanata in the Star Wars sequel trilogy. It proved her range, taking her from emotional historical dramas to global sci-fi blockbusters. In 2019, Lupita released her children's book Sulwe, inspired by her own childhood experiences with colorism. The story encourages children to embrace their skin, their uniqueness, and their inner beauty. The book became a New York Times bestseller, and it is now being adapted into a Netflix animated film. Lupita has been named one of Time magazine's 100 most influential people and featured on countless magazine covers, including Vogue, Vanity Fair, and Essence. Her fashion, grace, and authenticity have made her a global style and culture icon. Lupita Nyong'o is more than an actress, more than an author, and more than an icon. She is a changemaker. Beyond the red carpets and cameras, she has dedicated her life to using her voice for the voiceless and her influence for impact. She is a vocal advocate for girls' education and women's rights, especially in Africa. She supports organizations that fight against gender-based violence, early marriage, and limited access to education for girls. Her goal is clear: to empower young African girls to dream boldly and live freely. Lupita became a global ambassador for Wild Aid, a non-profit organization that protects endangered wildlife. As someone deeply connected to her Kenyan heritage, she's spoken out about the importance of preserving elephants and other species from illegal poaching. Her message is simple but powerful: when the buying stops, the killing can too. Through her children's book Sulwe and public speeches, Lupita has become a global voice against colorism, the discrimination based on skin tone. She uses her own story to help young children, especially girls of color, understand that their beauty is not defined by society's standards, but by their unique light. Lupita has spoken openly about the emotional toll of certain roles and the importance of mental health, especially for Black artists who often carry generational and cultural trauma. She encourages emotional honesty and self-care, helping to destigmatize mental health conversations in communities that often avoid them. In her home country of Kenya, Lupita has supported various community development and health initiatives, including her mother's work with the Africa Cancer Foundation. Through this, she helps spread awareness about cancer prevention and access to treatment across East Africa. Lupita continues to be a fierce advocate for diversity in storytelling. She regularly calls on Hollywood to amplify African voices, hire African talent, and tell African stories with dignity and authenticity. She believes true equality begins with representation, behind the camera as much as in front of it. Her legacy is still being written, but even now, it shines with purpose, power, and deep cultural meaning. She didn't just break barriers, she shattered them. As a Black African woman in Hollywood, she proved that talent knows no color, and that beauty is not confined to Western standards. Her success has become a mirror in which millions of young girls, especially across Africa and the diaspora, now see themselves. Her Oscar win wasn't just a personal victory. It was a message to the world: Black stories matter. African stories matter. Her presence in global cinema created space for new voices, new faces, and new narratives that were once overlooked. But Lupita's legacy reaches far beyond awards or red carpets. She has become a beacon of self-love, especially for people who've been made to feel invisible. Through her speeches, her book Sulwe, and her advocacy, she's helped children and adults alike see that darkness is not something to hide, it's something to celebrate. As a storyteller, she's used her platform to uplift truth. As a humanitarian, she's fought for justice, for education, and for the environment. And as a woman, she's shown that grace and strength can walk hand in hand. What makes Lupita's legacy so powerful is not just what she's done, it's how she's done it. With humility, with purpose, with pride in her heritage and unwavering belief in the beauty of who she is. Above all, Lupita Nyong'o's legacy is not just about fame. It's about freedom. The freedom to be seen, to be heard, and to be whole. And for generations to come, her story will stand as proof that even the darkest skin can shine the brightest light. That's the inspirational story of Lupita Nyong'o. You can watch more stories of inspirational people, available in our library. Don't forget to subscribe.